Good afternoon from a very cold and chilly Watford, as Watford take on Hull City in the resumption of the 2022-23 EFL Championship season. That's right, the World Cup break for the Championship is over, and although it's carrying on, and although England are out after defeat in the quarter-final to France, there is World Cup no more for Watford fans. They can go back and watch the Hornets get into action. And today it's Hull City, who, to be fair, have been struggling this season, sitting in 21st. They've got a new manager in, Liam Rosinia. I always get the pronunciation wrong. With a new Turkish ownership as well. But a lot has happened. You know, Watford sitting in 6th, looking to get into 3rd place with a win today. But over the break, they've signed Ismail Kone. They've got Julian Dix as the assistant manager, and also new sporting director Ben Manga. But obviously a few familiar faces at Hull, including Ozan Tufan, and of the past, Marco Silva as well. But Seri as well for Hull is going to be a threat today. Meanwhile, Rob Edwards has gone to Luton Town, so very, very controversial move from the former manager there. We also got our FA Cup 3rd round draw away to Reading, so that will be an interesting one. And if we win today, as I say, we go 3rd, and we'd be 5 points off the automatic, so it would be nice to do that, really. We had a Spain kind of trip over the break, a nice training camp, a couple of friendlies against Blackpool and Arsenal, drew with Blackpool with Davis getting on the score sheet, and then beat Arsenal 4-2. A nice kickabout with the boys, beating them in their own place, London Colney. So nice result there, but ultimately it's about how we do in this game. I mean, Ismail Assar, as expected, not going to be available because of the fact he only just played for Senegal in the last 16, and we also have an injury for Edu Kayembe. So look, this is a winnable game for Watford. Hull are looking at the worst defence in the country. So if we can not score past this lot, then I think we'll be a little bit worried. But it's our first game after the break. Backman in between the sticks, as you would expect. Ngaka comes in, obviously with the injury to Gosling was a real blow in that very, very slow and tepid performance away to Bristol City in that 0-0 draw. But we could have started Gaspar, however, he is on the bench gladly. I'm just not feeling confident in Mario at the moment, but I really do like Jeremy, and I think his time to shine is now. And then in the back two, we've got Christian Kabasele, partnered by the captain Craig Cathcart. Troost-Ekong, maybe that's just being a rest. I'm not quite sure, but obviously we've had a lot of injuries to our centre-backs, including Courtney Hawes. But Sia Rouse is also on the bench as well as an option. Good to see Backman actually starting as well, because I heard that he got a slight injury in the Austria camp, but he's recovered in time. However, no Okoye, Ben Hamer, the substitute goalkeeper. And alongside Cathcart and Kabasele, who, you know, the OG centre-back pairing from the 18-19 season, we've got, of course, Hassan Kamara on that left-hand side. Hopefully, he really puts in a good performance. And then in the midfield, the expected two is no longer. Chowdhury and Kayembe is now turned to Chowdhury and Deli Bashiru, a man who has been hit by a lot of injuries in the past. Obviously went out on loan last season. We were in the Championship to Reading and didn't really get a minute, but hopefully he can do well today. And we've also then got Sema on the left, no Ismail Assar, as I mentioned. We've also got Asprilla though playing there in that kind of that role. So we've got Asprilla, Sema, and then Pedro and Davis leading the line. So a nice team. I'm hoping that if we do need it, you know, Manai and Hungbo and the Crow, Bio, can really help us off the bench. But it's going to be an interesting one. Hull is a winnable game, but they are going to go for it. They've got good players. You know, ultimately, Estupinian, I think, is out injured. Oscar Estupinian for them, which is a big plus for us. But they've still, you know, going to go for it. It's their first game since, you know, the World Cup, and they've got a new manager bounce. So we've got to go for it. I think we can win, though. I'll just edge towards a Watford 2-1 victory. I think we never keep clean sheets these days. So Hull goal scorer will probably be Ozan Tufan, the ex-Watford man. It's just bound to happen, isn't it? And then Watford goal scorers. First of all, it's going to be João Pedro. Who else? The best player you've ever seen. I mean, I say Ozan Tufan, he might be on the bench today, but he'll come on and score probably. And then the winner for Watford, I think, will be scored by none other than Tom Deli Bashiru. But what is your prediction for the game and your thoughts quickly for this one?
I'm going to be more confident than you. I'm going to say 2-0.
2-0. Keeping a clean sheet.
Yes.
So, yeah, should be a winnable game, hopefully. We will see how it pans out, and we'll see you at full time. on, Watford. That first half was boring and slow. Let's quicken it up now. Full time at Vicarage Road. Watford 0. Hull City 0. Well, that was a bit of a fuss about nothing. Bit of a wasted trip up to the Vicarage Road because it was a non-event, a non-performance, a damp squib, as they like to call matches that send you to sleep. Watford 0, Hull 0, no goals, no point, and well, there is a point for both sides, but no point in turning up because both sides were really so bad that they deserved to both lose. This is perfectly summing up the game. A tweet that I tweeted out at half time. Chowdhury injured, stop-start game, freezing, nothing happening. At least the half-time hot chocolate was nice. Yeah, that's as good as it gets. The half-time hot chocolate. And also, at one point in the half-time interval... Oh, hang on. The police are here. They're just arresting the Watford and Hull squads for that absolute crime of a performance. Yeah, that's how bad it was. It was criminal. It's just such a dour affair. You know, let alone League 2 level. It was like National League South level. It was just such amateurish, boring and stop-starty football. I mean, the referee today had a stinker. I mean, some of his decisions were so weird, but the players were just... It's almost like the players saw how cold it was and were like, nah, not today. It's just not my day. I'm just not going to go in for challenges. I'm not going to show any sort of energy, any sort of creativity, and it's just going to be like watching paint dry. It genuinely was that painful to watch. We talked all about the game and how, you know, this was a good opportunity for Watford to go up to third and really kickstart their second half of the season after the World Cup break. But after that game, it's like they were all sleeping for the first, you know, 3 weeks of the break. I don't know what that they've been doing over the you know, World Cup to put in a performance like that. I mean, Hull City, you can understand it. Look, they're away from home against a decent side on their day. They were more than happy with a point. They played poorly, but Watford were just as poor. And when you consider the fact that in the first half how poor the Hornets were, then they showed a reaction, albeit a small one, in the second half with a lot more of the ball, but they just had no clue what to do with it, and it was just so clueless. It was so aimless. And I tell you what, we need Ismail Kone fast. We need some attacking ideas fast. And who did we miss today? Ismail Assar, who of course wasn't able in time to be in the squad after his involvement with Senegal, beating you know, the teams in their group to get through to the last 16 and then losing to England. He came back, you know, the game was on the Sunday before, and he came back, and you'd think that's enough time to recover, even just for the bench. Just give us some kind of energy, some kind of a semblance of a creative spark, but we had nothing today. It was all just so flat, and the game started off with very little happening, and then in about 3 or 4 minutes in, after we've got a already growing and depressing injury list, that just got added to with Hamza Chowdhury going down with an injury. A Hull player also went into a challenge with him and looked injured. I think he carried on in the end, but there was a couple of substitutions made for Hull players, so they basically delayed the inevitable and he had to come off. And then Chowdhury was just walking around clearly in discomfort, and it's like, what are the medical team thinking by saying, oh yeah, no, just walk it off, run it off, it'll be fine? It clearly wasn't, and he had to be subbed off. So then Watford, to do that, bring on a different option. I'm not sure really what we could have done, but Hungbo comes on and he has to slot in that midfield, so it's already an inexperienced midfield with Tom Dele-Bashiru in there, and then Hungbo as well, and Asprilla as well in the number 10. So look, it was just a very makeshift and you know, square pegs in round holes sort of Watford squad today. The lineup was not what we're expecting, not what we're used to, but due to injury enforced, and it just shows how little squad depth we have. You know, we really, when push comes to shove and we have a few injuries, do not have a good enough squad to kind of cause sides problems. And look, this whole defence were one of the worst in the country. Defensively, their goal difference is -14. And yet we didn't even put a small dent into that defence today. We were just so lifeless and uninspiring. So if we talk about that game from a perspective of chances, I mean, there was very, very little to talk about. It began where there was a lot of stoppages from the referee, who didn't seem to be able to control the game very well. It was very up and down. But obviously when Hull made that substitution, Doherty came on for Pelkas, you just think, okay, what's going to happen here? Is something going to happen? Not really. First 20 minutes passed by and it's just an absolute passenger of a performance from both sides. And then Watford do have a small chance from that João Pedro opportunity. It gets collected to him, some build up, but very, very little, you know, impressive play from the Hornets. And then Pedro has the shot and it's just so softly hit and it's well saved, but it's just not a great effort. But that was very, very much it in the first half. Second half, okay, so Hull had a close range effort denied by the legs of Bachmann after some poor Watford defending. And then towards the kind of 60th, 70th minute, Watford start to kind of show some kind of opportunities. I mean, the only thing I can think of was in the first half there was a decent chance for Hull, where the ball got played across and it was really a free header and it just got completely missed by everyone. But that was it really for the first half for Hull. And then second half they barely created many chances other than that one that Bachmann saved with his legs. The key chance really was in the second half, but a lot was not going well for Watford, and very, very little was happening. So you kind of think, okay, forget that first half. It was dreadful from both teams. It was a non-starter. Surely in the second half, both sides can get their, you know, managers talking to the players and really barking at orders at them, and just get a rocket up the backside and say, no, you've got to be better than that. You've got better players and you've got, you know, a lot better options than that to put in performances like this. So second half comes around, it's like, oh please, let's just forget that first half happened. And as I say, that shot from Tyler Smith was saved by Bachmann, but then Watford didn't offer enough. I mean, you know, there was corners, there was the chance for João Pedro, which was saved in the bottom right corner. Really though, very, very little going on. I mean, in terms of Watford's performers, I thought today not a lot stood out. Very, very average, but Cabaselli was at least a bit sturdy in his centre-back pairing with Cathcart. Also, Ngakia, I thought had quite a good game, so he's my man of the match. But to be honest, neither side deserves a man of the match from this one. Asprilla had that chance that was saved in the bottom left corner after some good work from Sema. Just everything was either getting blocked or there was just no route for Watford to go through that defence. It was just all very much sideways passing, very little creativity, and no movement off the ball. You know, Watford have the ball and they just don't do anything with it. They just lethargically walk around and don't get anything happening. Tufan had an opportunity. Of course, he was subbed on, the ex-Watford man, and I was worried when it got pulled back to him. He was bound to do something to kind of punish Watford in a game where neither side really deserved anything. But he blazed the shot well over from the pullback, and then Hull had another opportunity, was blocked. It was just all very kind of bitty and nothing consistent. But the only thing we can say that was consistent in that game was the very cold temperature and the fact that both sides got clean sheets. I mean, that's back-to-back 0-0s now for Watford. So something is got to change in terms of our attacking options. But look, when we're bringing on, you know, Ray Manai in the 89th minute for, you know, a very, very short period of time, and then Manai comes off, gets injured himself. So these are players that are just not even fit enough to even play more than a few minutes, and Bayo comes on and does absolutely nothing. It's like these players are not affecting the match. They're really not filling the team with any inspiration. And again, I'll go back to it, the lack of squad depth, the lack of investment from the board, it's costing us. It is costing us dearly. So I just don't know what to say, really. I think that really was one to not live long in the memory. The best chance was really that Pedro shot, and then, I mean, Hull were okay in the second half because Christie had that opportunity denied by Bachmann, and that was a really good save, to be fair, where he just kind of got it blasted at him, and Bachmann punched it away importantly. But other than that chance for Manai at the end, he's got to do better. Just no good connection from that cross from Kamara, and I just don't think we will be paying back the refund for that game. Basically, if it was ever in the offing that Watford Hull in the highlights would be longer than 2 minutes, then it's not going to be now. But anyway, thanks for watching my matchday vlog. If you have enjoyed it, smash a like on it, subscribe for some content at some point in the new year, maybe, we will see. But I've been Roberto the Hornet. Cheers for watching. Goodbye.